We're the Ghostbusters.
I'm Spencer. He's Tracy.
I'm Kong. We're the Ghostbusters. We're clever, courageous, and strong.
Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, your agent of multidimensional awesome, and your host of Zenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters. Today we are discussing episodes 9 through 12 of The Ghostbusters from 1974, 75 now? 1975. Couldn't remember for a moment. And this show is definitely growing on me. The characters are just so much fun, and all of the actors have great timing, and they know what they're doing. Plus, there's a couple of there's a dinosaur in one of them, and it's just fun. That's pretty much all I can say about this. And apparently, the ratings were good enough to get a second season, but they canceled it so they could do more of Shazam, the original Captain Marvel, which we'll probably get into at some point in time. Maybe it wasn't my favorite because it really wasn't Captain Marvel. Sort of. Be that as it may, do all the things, like, share, subscribe, and if you're ready, let's get on with the show. Our first episode today is They Went That-A-Way, and you can probably guess it's got the ghosts of cowboys. And the Ghost Riders themselves are Billy the Kid and Belle Starr, played by Marty Ingalls and Brooke Tucker. Marty Ingalls was a comedian, and he was known as the co-star of 1960s television series I'm Dickens, He's Fenster. Brooke Tucker does not have a credit here in Wikipedia. Anyway, Spencer there is working on something, but he can't see because it's top secret, and it's a light bulb, but he thinks it's a telephone. That's a little goofy, but. And then Tracy's out to get a propeller for his airplane, and it works. So off they go, and of course Kong says, "Would you two idiots go get today's assignment?" And off they go. And there we see Belle Starr herself. They want the reason they've come back is they're really tired of angel food cake, or devil's food cake, as Billy says. But Billy's not portrayed as the smartest or the sharpest tool in the box, but Belle's pretty got it on there, and she's making them boot soup. And here we go. Now Zero here has started to, I don't know if he ad-libs his lines, or they know what he's going to say, or if they did it, had somebody off camera saying it and then they dubbed him in. Zero, the voice of Zero there is Lou Scheimer himself, and he's pretty funny, and Zero thinks he's pretty funny. So they've got it in a deer head, which blows up and gives Tracy antlers. They're watching a Western on television, to get ready. They get soaked because water comes out of everything. It's not even Moby Dick this time. And Billy's slapping his shoulders to sound like a horse is riding, which is something they did for the radio. These are a lot of radio and vaudeville acts. And these actors, some of them date back to that time, as we'll see momentarily. But off they go. Oh, they might be in that house. They've got to find an empty... Oh, wait, that's not that one. I went down. Okay, scroll. So they need a new gang of cattle rustlers, so they need some dim bulbs. And they find them. I mean, even Kong's not the smartest bulb. Not the lightest bulb in the box. But Spencer says this, "Never squat with your spurs on." That reminds me of going to a mountain town way back in the day with Lilith once upon a time. I hope she still has that. That's it. I got her I don't know, a poster with that on it. But they decide these guys aren't really cowboys, because he's the ugliest cow that they've ever seen. But he produces milk and a transistor radio. Top of the line technology back then. Then he sings Home on the Range, and he brings a tear to these cowpokes' eyes. But cows don't eat bananas. Unfortunately, Billy gets zapped right away because, again, he's not the fastest draw in the West. But Belle gets away, or does she? They roast up a leg of something without a fire. That's a running joke. And she's so hungry, she takes it to the great beyond with her. Zap. Tracy draws a house, and I'm not exactly sure, but Kong is just can't believe his luck. And now we've got the Vampire's Apprentice, or as I said, really old Dracula. If you've seen old Dracula, you'll. If you have, I'm sorry. I haven't seen it since that one time, and it never got really funny. Sorry, David Niven. But the old Dracula there is played by Billy Holmes, who keeps running into things, getting his fangs. This is a running joke. Is he's old and klutzy, and he's not Vladimir Dracula. He's somebody else, probably Wilhelm Dracula. His Countess Dracula is Dana Dietrich, pardon me, and she was known for playing Mother Nature, which reminds me, and I'm glad that I got that. I will add that here momentarily so we can see that. If you remember the chiffon commercials, you'll remember Mother Nature. There's his teeth as he pulls them out again. Vampires don't have dentures, or they're not even ghosts. They are the undead. Now they're going to get their assignment, and it's in a toy plane, the same one that left. So it blows up. Poor Kong. And she says, after all these years of being married, I'm still making beds. I thought that was clever. They're playing Go Fish. Tracy produces a fish. Gag with the drawers, and a baseball bat flies out. It's visual, but it's funny. It's a steak, a wooden steak. Spencer gets a sliver from the wooden steak, of course, that will play in later. She's timing her old bat of a husband. He crashes into the wall. He's got new fangs. He loses the new fangs. Spencer here has a big old bandage on his poor little finger. And he's found him, but the bandage it disappeared in one of the scenes. A little continuity error that you wouldn't notice in 1975 because you only saw this probably once or twice. Bites the tree again. She tells him if he's going to keep biting the tree, he's going to turn into an oak or an acorn, as the case may be. And they're looking for a warm-blooded donor for some reason. That's all they're looking for. The chase goes on. Old gag, but funny. He's complaining about his splinter, and Countess Dracula removes it, and now Spencer's a vampire or an umpire. You wouldn't hit a bat with glasses on, would you? So the only way to get uncursed is to be bitten by a vampire back. This kind of logic doesn't work as well. But they're all afraid of him. Kong is trying to charm them, and then Tracy's saying, "Look what's happening." He pops the can of soda with too. The fangs are done really well here. I really good job on those. I don't know if they were worn. You can tell they're actually talking with them. There was no ADR at this point in time. Tracy's quick thinking does this, corks on old Dracula. Somehow Spencer ends up with the dematerializer but won't use it. But they pull out the wooden stake, and Tracy does, and she gets a splinter. He removes it, and now he's cured. Thought he was supposed to be rebitten. So there's the wooden stake. She gets zapped. He gets zapped. Leaves his chattering fangs. I mean, I think those were popular as Halloween decorations. He shows up again with vampire fangs. They run out, and he's like, I just wanted to show him these things I got in a box of Cracker Jacks. Nice gag. And now it is time for something really different. You are watching Xenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters on KXNO, part of the Xenorama Broadcasting Network. We now return you to our regularly scheduled program.
It's not nice to fool Mother Nature.
And now we're on to episode 11. This was broadcast on November 15th, 1975. That is Joey Ross as Mr. Hyde as a caveman, oddly enough, and Severn Darden as and his real name is Severn Teakle Darden Jr., Chicago-based, a founding member of Second City, Chicago-based comedy troupe. Very funny. So Joey Ross, if you like his ooh, 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 think he was in the Hair Bear Bunch, which will never get reviewed here. Hate that show. Anyway, this is what Kong is greeted by, and he's fixing Tracy's fixing Spencer's heels. He's got a pizza pie, which turns into a UFO, and a Martian shows up, and somehow Spencer knows there won't be another saucer around till 1993. I don't remember seeing one. And off they go. He sends them out, and Dr. Jekyll is lamenting his eternal connection with Mr. Hyde, even though they're the same person. Somehow they've split in two. Maybe they were involved in a transporter accident like Captain Kirk was. Good side and the bad side. But he plays his violin. He plays the violin. And of course, Mr. Hyde destroys it. And he's like, so he's trying to figure out a way to get away from Mr. Hyde instead of connecting both sides like Professor Hulk eventually did. Off they go. And it blows up in their face, but Zero tells them that Mr. Hyde, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde are back. The car is now chasing them. Another dresser gag. This is also, Kong produces a bus stop and a bus. We don't see the bus, of course, because that's just, you're supposed to use your imagination. See what I mean by radio? They're painting. There is the, that's probably a Diplodocus carnegie, if you will. And now they're off to look for, a dolt with no personality, calling Eddie Spencer. And he's upset about being, that Kong told him that. And Mr. Hyde thinks Tracy's one of his relatives. And there they are. When they figure out that that's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, they all run out. And Kong says, if you think I'm scared, I'm from Scotland Yard. Or Tracy's from Scotland Yard. Potions. The wheel. Mr. Hyde invents the wheel. He can't stop it from rolling away, though. Once again, the old bus stop thing there. Off he sends him. Left his lunchbox, though. So all they need is something from Spencer so he can give him Mr. Hyde. And he takes his hat. So it floats around. You can see the string, even with the 720 resolution. Again, but everyone has such a good interplay here. You can tell they all have known each other and worked if not together, but it's just easy for them. Unfortunately, they're about he puts Tracy's beanie in there, and it turns Dr. Jekyll into an ape man, if you will. He's an ape man. He's an ape man. Oh, he's an ape man. There's a Kinks reference for you there. X-Sonic. Zap! Off they go. And then Kong sits on Tracy's hat, his World War I Kaiser hat. And now our final episode of the day is the Red Baron, who played by Howard Morris, who we know generally as Ernest T. Bass and his Uncle Goopy, he was also Dr. Savannah in Challenge of the Superheroes and Roast of the Superheroes. We'll get to it once I've had enough time from the last time I watched him. I don't hate him, but yes, but he's hilarious. There's some really funny stuff in there, but again, it's like this. That's his mechanic and co-pilot Sparky, and Sparky's played by Robert Easton, who's the man was really good of English dialect and earned him the sobriquet of the man of 1,000 voices. So I can't even begin to tell you what he's done, but he's hilarious too. So I really enjoyed this episode. Only ghosts have wings. So they're back to the spirit of Icarus, so they can engage in their enemies, Lord Smedley Hargroves and his grease monkey, Tracy Holmes Harrington. So guess who those two would be? Now, in real life, the Red Baron no one really actually knows who he was shot down by, but he was not shot down in a dogfight. It was probably from aerial or from land gunners. But you can look it up. It's fascinating, and if you have a friend who likes that stuff, you'll learn all about it whether you want to or not. It's kind of like Agent DA with Clash of the Titans. They're watching the ball game. It's a home run, and Kong gets hit out of the park, and Tracy catches it. Spencer shows up with a hot dog, and he's also bought the Brooklyn Bridge. But he says there's no room for it, so he gives him some money for his trouble because he's a Teamster and he doesn't want any trouble with the Teamsters. And off they go. They're looking for their foes. And the interplay between these two is priceless. It's really good. This is probably the best episode I've seen so far. I did like The Vampire's Apprentice, except for their slight lapse in logic at the end. But Tracy throws Spencer out of the car and makes him run alongside. And the Smith Fire Hose Company, it blows up, and there you go. And he's also, Tracy is not a television mechanic. Remember back then you used to pay to have them fixed, and now you just buy a new TV because it's cheaper in the long run. Gag with the drawers where he gets one open right away. It's the wrong file, but there's a book about the Red Baron over there, and it won't help him. He does a really good James Mason imitation, or voice imitation. Speaking of a man of 1,000 voices, really good. There's for some reason it lays an egg, but he sent Sparky out to get aerial photographs, so he takes a picture. But he also finds these two, and they're just sure because he's dressed like that, and they want to, yikes, it's them. There he is. They can fly around in their invisible plane. They're not even from Themyscira. But they get back, and they pretend that they are the Lord Smedley and Tracy Holmes Harrington. And they accidentally tar and feather. Well, Sparky gets tarred and feathered. And then they get away again, but they throw up cans of pea soup, brings them back down. They get zapped. Everyone's happy. Tracy's doing an artwork of a rocket which blasts off and crashes through the ceiling. And that's the end of the episode. Again, they just kind of leaned into the overt silliness as they went along, and it really did get better. I would have enjoyed a second season of this, even if it was only 6 episodes. But you know what to do if you are leaving. Oh, how I love that theme song, as you might have guessed. Kind of wish that I hadn't missed the 60th anniversary of Johnny Quest 2 years ago. However, be that as it may, tomorrow we are going to be reviewing the Tom and Jerry team-up movie with Johnny Quest, though it's mostly a Tom and Jerry movie, but I quite enjoy it. And until that next assignment, this is X7 signing off and phasing out. And remember, the sun never sets on those who ride into it. You just gotta keep going. Be seeing you.
After countless cat and mouse games, Tom and Jerry are teaming up.
All right, buckle up.
With Johnny Quest for a top secret mission.
Johnny, Haji,
Bandit. In an all-new original movie, Tom and Jerry Spy Quest.
the Q-Sphere has enough power.